So is he working with the police department?
No, not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
Yeah, because some of the things he said was kind of confusing.
I did. Again, he's never treated me bad or anything.
The time is 6 p.m. The Pelican Rapids City Council meeting of 9 September 2025 is called to order. I ask those in our council chambers, if you have not signed the clipboard by the back door, if you'd please do so before you leave this evening. Also, everyone, please put their phones on vibrate. Roll call of members. Danielle?
Councilmember Steve Strand. Councilmember Shelley Gumringer. Here. Councilmember Kurt Markgraf.
Here.
Councilmember Don Perrin.
Here.
Mayor Brent Frazier.
Here. Want to welcome each and every one of you here in our council chambers, also those joining us by Zoom this evening. Remember, our city council meetings are on the Pelican Rapids YouTube channel and also on channel 14 on Wednesday evening. Just a few announcements, actually community announcements for the next couple of weeks. This Thursday, 11th September, Patriot Day across our country. On Friday, September 19th is the Pelican Rapids homecoming football game versus Park Rapids here in Pelican Rapids. Monday, September 22nd is the first day of autumn, if it hasn't felt like it already. And our next city council meeting is slated actually 3 weeks from now on 30th September at 6 p.m. here at council chambers. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Hearing none, if we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 2, citizens' comments. Anyone here for citizens' comments? Seeing none. Item number 3 is additions or deletions to the agenda. I have one addition. Item number 16 is Houston Engineering invoice. Item number 16 is Houston Engineering invoice. Then I have a deletion, item number 7, Traffic, Motor Vehicles and Streets, Chapter 7 Ordinance, which was in our packet. The reason we're deleting that, Chief Quaintance could not be here this evening, and he sits on the ordinance committee. And in all fairness to him, there'll be some probably questions that pertain to legality, so we're going to delete that and speak about it next council meeting.
Delete it. Tell us again.
I just found out about it this afternoon. Motion to, you can comment on it after, if you want, after we accept.
We'll take 5 minutes.
Okay, well, when we get down to that, you can address it there. Okay. Additions and deletions to the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Item number 4, approval of consent agenda. Item number 4 is approval of council minutes from August 26, 2025. 4B is approval of accounts payable listing. Item 4C1, we're going to pull that from the consent agenda. So we're actually looking at 4A and 4B. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. So let's go to item number 4C1, staff reports. And we have Marie Sherarian here from our library director, and she wanted to address the council. Actually, the material was put on your desk this afternoon, so you have it before you. Marie?
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to come and talk about the future budget that I know you guys are currently working on for the city. Yesterday was our board meeting, that's why all the things are now on your table. So, one of the things that was brought up was the library would be paying for half of the library insurance. And this year, the city paid for all of it. So the request was the library would then pay for half of the library insurance. So regarding the recent request from the Budget Committee we received this past week, our library board met yesterday evening and discussed the $7,200 additional amount the library is now being asked to pay to cover approximately 50% of insurance costs for library contents, such as books, DVDs, shelves, tables, chairs, etc. The library board wanted to ask if it was possible to add this additional expense starting the following year in 2027 versus this coming year, so that the library board has time to come up with a plan to sustainably cover these costs, which will require seeking additional donations from townships and individuals, which comes from outside of the Pelican Rapids city funding. So it was something I wanted the city to consider, is instead of asking us to take on that payment in 2026, we could have more time to figure out funding for 2027, because $7,200 is a large amount for our budget to handle. So if anyone has any questions?
Any questions?
When does the budget have to be finalized?
Last,
We will approve our budgets, our preliminary budget, the end of September, and then it's finalized the end of December, by the end of December.
and we could address this when we get to the budget item tonight.
You can, yeah,
We can talk about it then.
absolutely.
Okay.
It was just a request that the library board had.
Okay.
Because we need to figure out how to work our funding, because one of the ways we get non-resident funding is by how much the city provides. So if the city provides more money, one of the factors in our non-resident funding is that would give us more money. So they look at, okay, this past year you gave us this amount, so that non-resident money could go up. If the money that the city gives goes down, our non-resident reimbursement would also go down. So it is something to consider when we're looking at our budget.
Okay. Anything else, Mary?
Thank you. Otherwise, the library's doing great. We have a Lego club starting tomorrow, which is so much fun. The kids are really excited for grades 4 through 8. It's a way for them to have a spot to come and play Legos and do that kind of thing. We also do books and brunch, which if you're a reader and you don't really like a book club, but you like to talk about the books you're reading or you're looking for a good book, it's a good place for everyone to kind of come and gather. So the library has had just so many people visiting and using the library. Our study rooms are full, our library is full, our checkouts are continuous, so things are just going really well. So if I'm ever here and you have a question about library events or library things, I would love to talk to you about it. So, thank you.
Thank you. We still need a motion to approve item number 4C1, library report.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5, industrial park lots. And I believe Jordan Grossman, our Economic Development Director, is going to speak to that. And Lance, if you have anything also, you can enter into the conversation as she addresses the council. Jordan?
All right, good evening. Planning Commission, over the last few months, has been working through needing 2 lots in the industrial park. I come to you with a recommendation from the Planning Commission to deed both parcels over. I don't know what's best for me to read parcel number, Danielle, or... Okay, so we will talk about the first parcel number, is 7600099086800, Lot 8, Block 2 of the industrial park. This particular parcel has been back and forth over the last 18 months. It was previously sold to somebody who did not develop within 18 months. It took a little bit of time to get the parcel back. It's back, and ready to send it out the door again. So wall-to-wall Flooring and Construction LLC, owned by Brad Erickson, is interested in acquiring this parcel. The stipulations here are the same as usual: 18 months for substantial development, check-ins with myself, not outlined in here, but Brad and I have an understanding. And then to stop what happened previously to happen in the future. We also have a quitclaim deed to have the parcel sent back to the city in 18 months, which Brad has agreed to sign at this time, pending your agreement. So if for some reason there wasn't development in 18 months, it would be an easier transition back to the city than previously. So just kind of updating the way that that works. And then the other update from previous times is instead of the city taking on the financial responsibility for this transaction, it would be a $600 fee. So that would cover recording fees, legal fees, etc. So there's no burden to the taxpayers. And Brad is here. If anybody has any questions or wants to hear anything, I'm open for questions and listening. So.
You have anything to add, Brad?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We don't take questions.
Lance, you have anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Are you just gonna put up a storage shed of some kind to work out of, or no?
So, no, we won't.
Could you address the microphone so they can hear you on camera?
So as you all know, I have a lot down, or probably know I have a lot on Main Street right off 59 by Viking Elementary that I started out using for a small flooring business, and now I've grown to the point where that lot is just not feasible for me anymore. But I have trailers and all kinds of stuff sitting there. So my plan is to move up to there, up to this new lot, put up a building up there to use for storing materials, and then eventually at some point, hopefully building flooring. So.
If we pass this, do you plan on starting construction yet this fall, or? Okay. Okay.
Most of the materials are at my lot.
Okay.
So.
Any questions from the council?
I have a question, and I don't know if it's been addressed, but there's still stuff on this lot. Are you buying it as is?
I don't know where he went, but Miguel, the previous member, wasn't here. Right before the meeting started, I have been communicating with him today and plan to have an answer by the end of the week as far as what he's doing. But as it sits right now, I would say the land is ready to be sold. So if he can come up with a timely way to remove his property, otherwise I'll figure that out. I can't come up with a solution.
I just didn't know if it was.
Any other questions?
And also, just to clarify, you're going to work with Mr. Henry up there on whatever kind of agreement you guys need to come up with for ingress and egress.
That would be between you and him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Okay, okay.
So I think it'll be fine. Thank you for your consideration.
Yeah. Jordan, what do you want our motion to say?
Danielle?
Well, I think just that we are,
Approving the quitclaim deed from the city to wall flooring and construction.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 2.
All right, still on Industrial Park, parcel number 76000990861001. This is another city-owned property within the Industrial Park. At one point in time over the last 2 years was purchased by Lakes Trees. They got 2 parcels built on one and deeded this one back to the city. They weren't using it. The Creative LLC is a videography and photography company based out of St. Paul, so looking to move their business to Pelican as they also relocate to Pelican. Micah is one of the owners, has He's from Pelican. Lots of Pelican ties, as well as Jenna, husband-wife duo, looking to have a studio on the industrial park lot, which would be their studio, as well as a studio for rent for other photographers in the area, and possibly some workforce development opportunities partnering with the high school as far as media is related. So this is another recommendation from the Planning Commission to claim deed this over to Kavit Creative with the acknowledgement that the EDA would put towards this parcel up to, I don't think it will exceed this, up to $16,500 for water and wastewater lines to that parcel. So there's quite a few expenses that went along with this one. It is well below the level of both streets. So there's a pretty large bill cost there, as well as water and sewer extension. So a business I think is going to be great for the community. A lot of out of Pelican traffic. So it seemed to be a good investment to the EDA board. So the motion. Well, any questions? Same guidelines and stipulations on this one. $600 fee. So the motion would be to approve the quitclaim deed to Kavit Creative LLC and utilizing EDA funds up to $16,500 to help make this.
Someone like to make that a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Discussion?
I would like to abstain from voting on this. Jenna's my niece, so.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Okay, don't go anywhere. Item number 6 is EDA updates. We have Economic Development Director Jordan Grossman, and she has 5 different bullet points here, but I think she said we can cover it in one motion.
One motion. Okay, so business incentive application came in to the EDA board for your final approval from Morgan and Brad Solberg. Solberg Insurance Agency acquired the old, I wish I knew Pelican names, Nedstead, thank you, property. They have an extensive list of upgrades and improvements to make to that building. It's of good condition, but looking to modernize things a little bit. Along with that, they are looking to utilize the city's tax rebate program, which, just a reminder, is year 1, 70% of city taxes are rebated to the taxpayer. Year 2, 50%, and year 3, 30%. It's one of the new business incentives that the EDA offers. So we are looking for your final approval on their business incentive application. Any questions on that one? Okay. After that, I have facade improvement program. They've also chose to utilize the grant program through the EDA, which is up to $5,000 of a matching grant for primarily exterior improvements on buildings that are commercially zoned. They have roughly $12,865 of improvements planned, and the EDA is recommending a $5,000 matching grant. It's a reimbursed program, so they spend all of the money, send me their receipts, and then I hand those receipts over to Danielle, and they receive a check for $5,000. Big investment going into that building, and I'm excited to see how it looks afterwards. Any questions there? Daycare, I'm just going to give you a very quick overview. There are going to be some lots available for purchase on the south, oh my goodness, thank you, west side of town. I should know this, that's what we've been calling them, the southwest lots. At the same time, I've been working with Tammy, who is from Acorn Consulting. She's a daycare consultant for the county. Learning about the daycare shortage that exists everywhere, but specifically in Pelican. and making a possible plan for a grant application, utilizing 2 of the lots that you will be seeing for sale soon for twin home builds to house up to 4 daycare providers. So I know it's a little premature, but for grant writing purposes, acknowledgement and approval of possibly using 2 lots that I probably should have shown you a map of, I apologize, for grant funding daycare projects. So I will continue to update you on that one as more information comes up. Trying to just get ourselves in line to see if it's a great application for us to move forward with this fall or not. So, any questions on that one?
It's not.
Okay. E-bikes, if you don't know, we were awarded a grant from West Central Initiative for an equity e-bike program, which also allows possibly some funding to be received as well. So the equity portion of the e-bikes is somebody who is able to show that they're on some type of assistance or financially struggling, is able to work with a local nonprofit, essentially is given a confidential waiver that is brought to the library, and then that's used as a token to be able to use an e-bike free of charge to be able to go get your groceries, run your errands, etc. And then the e-bikes will also be available for rent, primarily on the weekends or off times, to be able to have some revenue for that program. We have 2 e-bikes. We have storage lockers that will soon be built and put up at the library. But I did not ask for enough grant funding. So EDA recommendation would be to put $1,000 of EDA funds towards the e-bike program, which will more than likely launch in spring of next year. Questions on that one? All right. Otter Tail Lakes Country Association 2026. The city has been a platinum or premium member, the highest level platinum otter member last year as well as this year. There are a ton of benefits that go with being a partner / member for Otter Tail Lakes Country. If you're not sure who they are, it's really a regional marketing program like your local Chamber of Commerce times 1,000. So they do a great job about sharing local events, local updates, business openings, etc. in Pelican, primarily online, and then we also get some space within their magazine, a few dedicated pages to Pelican projects and Pelican happenings. This goes over what you get at each tier of your membership, and the EDA would recommend spending $5,000 EDA dollars for the platinum otter membership or partnership again for next year. Do you have any questions on that one?
Anyone? Getting by easy, Jordan.
All right, we'll take it. If not, I would just look for a motion to accept the EDA update.
Is there a motion?
I move to update the EDA.
Is there a second?
5 points.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Discussion? Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
That item number 7, which we're going to delete this evening, this was just an FYI. We weren't going to make any motions on this evening. And found out about it just a few minutes before the council meeting because the chief could not be here. He's at training and he would like to speak to this.
But can I say a few words?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I started out looking through the agenda this morning, and I was going through number 7. And then in there, it talks about the winter parking regulations. Where did that come from?
Say again?
The winter parking regulations. I just went berserk. I've been angry all day. I mean, Why?
About parking regulations?
No parking from,
Oh, okay. The chief was on that committee and he's not here
okay,
tonight.
here's the other deal. When Lance said he wanted to have a committee to look through the ordinances, who wants to be on it? You looked at me and I said I would like to be, I won't make every meeting. Danielle saw me and Lance saw me. And you guys did not include me, so I'm angry. Well, why? What's the point?
I
Just
guess,
forgot, or?
yeah, I don't remember, yeah, I just don't remember.
I don't
There's
either.
5 of us here, then,
I can include you in the.
Because there's a
invite.
lot of ordinances to go over yet.
well, this one really burned me. I was so mad today.
This was something that we talked about in the ordinance committee, and it was discussed on, so there's an issue of safety when snow plowing and stuff, so this is what the chief and Brian kind of brought to us. It's certainly not saying that we're going to go forward with it or do anything. This is what we wanted to bring to council for a discussion. So it's not saying that we definitely want to do this, or it's to start the conversation on how to make it better for snow plowing and easier and safer for everyone. So it's not something that we're just pushing towards you and saying, all right, we're going to make, we want to have this happen right now. It was to start the conversation, so it's not anything but that.
Well, Brian and I do not agree on snow plowing, that's for sure.
I've missed it, Steve, so I wanted to bring it up again so we could visit it.
I figured that was from you. No. Oh, I was so mad today, I just,
So it wasn't to make anybody mad, but we wanted to start the
It worked.
conversation, and we want the council to decide on how we want to move forward, and there's many, many options to do that, and that is not the only option, so
so,
where we're at.
I want to keep going here, but, do you remember this one from 2013?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Council passed it,
And they also got rid of it.
because I worked hard. CJ Hall's the only guy that really worked with me to get rid of this stuff.
I still have one of those signs.
Collector's item.
So,
I still have a sticker, or a magnet, I mean.
that was the dumbest thing. Okay,
Anything else, Steve?
well, I'll continue next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about next
And
meeting.
in the interim, would you like to be absolutely notified for the meetings?
Well, I mean, I feel kind of silly coming now, but,
Oh, don't.
There's a lot of.
There's a lot of ordinances
There's
to
a
go
lot of
over.
ordinances, yeah.
but I've done that kind of work,
Weekly meetings. And
yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to do.
The only chapter we've done is the
7?
liquor one. No, the liquor one that we finished. I know, right? I think I was the only one that did.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
Or we'll talk
Sorry.
about next
thank you
meeting.
for the time.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8, Park and Street Report. Superintendent Olson.
All right. We have, basically, this, I don't know, it's been a busy summer, but done a little bit of everything, normal maintenance from patching to sweeping to, except for the industrial park, I noticed now, but, going on in the street department. Hydrant flushing, again, is September 28th this year from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Alternate date will be the following Sunday, October 5th, same time. Lance and I did meet with Minnesota Rural Water. I don't know if you've noticed, but our water has sometimes been discolored in town. And so we're working with them to come up with a plan to get rid of that. There seems to be many different reasons that we could be having this. So hopefully this flush will get rid of the most of it, but not going to guarantee it's going to not come back until we get things figured out. So here's where it gets tricky. Construction. So there's going to be some different things going on. Intersection 59 and number 9 will be closing Thursday morning. They're going to pave up there tomorrow, and then they're going to actually close that intersection. We will not be able to turn on by the monument You won't be able to go on the Y. You'll have to go out. Golf Course Road is not the detour, so that brings you out to 450th, which is not the detour. That brings you out to State Highway 34, which is their unofficial detour. But with everything else, you know where everybody's going to drive. Then they'll be paving that 59, and then they're going to flip the traffic over and get that done. So you'll see traffic go back to the west side temporarily. And then, let's see, 3rd Street Northwest, that intersection, starting middle to end of next week, will be closed. So there will be no coming in from the west into town. You'll have to take also 113 or one of the other highways around. So you'll not be able to come into town. We're trying to notify the residents that live this way that they will have to go out and around also. So that detour will be not needed anymore. So you'll have to, I don't know where you're going to go to Fargo at, Kurt. You have to maybe go down to over to Rodsay or something to get on the interstate.
I'll just head down to Ferguson.
So that's just kind of an FYI, and they're figuring a couple weeks on that. So just so people are aware, and that's happening. We did close the pool the 22nd of August, and Danielle just gave me the stats here for August. And again, freeze pops are a thing. Kids love those, and they also love ice cream sandwiches. I mean, it was 500 of them. I'm like, what do they do with them? But family daily passes, we had 25. Groups of 10 and more, we had 4. Single passes, we had 925. So that's another busy month at the pool. The year, no, I'm sorry, that was the year, for the year. No, that wasn't, I'm not sure what she gave me here. I tried to look at it, but single passes for the year was 3,009. So that's crazy. They had a good year. It really was a good year at the pool. Had good staff, young, but it managed, and very thankful for them and to make it through the season. So parks are winding down. Still a few campers straggling in here and there, but otherwise they will be open until about mid-October, and then we'll close the parks for the winter. So, any questions?
That's it?
What more do you want to know?
If that is it, is there a motion to approve the Park and Streets report?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thanks, Brian. Item number 9, Airport Maintenance and Operations Grant Agreement Resolution 2025-21, which was in our packet. Lance?
Yeah, this is an agreement that renews every 2 years with the state about maintenance and operation costs at the airport. They reimburse us a set amount. The amounts increased slightly. Other than that, there's really no changes from the previous agreement that will affect anything, so it's just a matter of approving moving forward the next 2 years with this maintenance and operations agreement.
I make a motion to approve the airport maintenance and operations agreement 2025-21.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 10, Chapter 4, Water and Sewer Ordinance. And that's in our packet. Danielle?
I'll talk to that
Oh,
one.
Lance, okay.
This is just a couple small changes to the Chapter 4. We certainly haven't gone through Chapter 4 really at all. It was just some changes that came about from our MPCA inspection here this last year. So that first change, the flow and load, when you're looking at D there, is just a recommendation from the MPCA. So we added that. And then the definition for a significant industrial user, I think this one is all the same, but there was 2 different ones in this ordinance, and they were different for some reason. So all I did was take this one and change the other one in the ordinance, which is page, this one right here, page 39. So those are the big changes there. And then on, right here, we struck this out. We've been working with Jenny O on the new SIU agreement. And in the SIU agreement, it does state in there, it references the heat, the discharge and the temperature of the discharge into the ponds there, and we wanted to keep that in, and this kind of contradicts that. It says it's not applicable to West Central Turkey, which it should be. We want to keep that in the SIU agreement, so we're just striking that out of the ordinance. So that came about from the SIU agreement. I believe that's all the changes. And then besides this 350 to 250, that was found by the MPCA as well, which that's just changing that limit to the correct amount. So that's really, I just wanted to get those out there and get them changed in a reasonable time frame, because the MPCA wants them changed, and this new SIU agreement will reference that as well. So that's where we're at with that one. I did send it back to Jenny O, because they were looking through this and had recommended a couple of these changes. And I haven't heard back from them, but I think we would be safe, if you guys are comfortable with it, approving this preliminary one, because it would have to go to a final change.
Okay.
So if there's any concerns from Jenny O at that point, we can address them then, so.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 11, approve the ordinance amending Chapter 6 alcoholic beverages, and there was a handout on our desk this evening as we arrived. Now, Danielle, this is the one you're going to speak to.
Yep. So I handed it out back in June, I looked up. The end of June, I handed it out, and then I had sent it off to Lindsay to review it, and she had made no changes except for formatting changes since then, so I didn't re-hand it out to you guys, since no changes were made. But if you would like me to send it to you again so you can look it over, I can sure do that. If you're confident, since no changes have been made and are okay approving it the way it is, we can go ahead and do that. And then what I put in front of you, since this is a whole ordinance and it has to be published before it can come into effect, and it's very long, or we can publish a notice, a summary notice, which is what I put in front of you. And if you guys are okay with me just publishing this notice, then I will need you to approve the summary notice also. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions?
Any questions, council? What are your wishes?
Well, it says that the copy is available. So
Yep, and I have it actually posted online right now on the website.
I make a motion to move forward with publication of this, the short version,
The summary?
the summary.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. That leads us to item number 12, proposed 2026 general budget, and the Budget Committee has met 2 or 3 times to look at this, and we're presenting this evening, a preliminary budget, but it's just an FYI item this evening. Like Danielle said before, the preliminary budget has to be finalized on our last council meeting on September, which is, I believe, September 30th.
Yeah.
So Danielle, do you want to take it away?
I do. Yes, like Brent said, we've met numerous times and gone over it and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut. And as of right now, you can see that we're at a 9, almost 10% increase over last year, but we kind of just stopped once we got there because we wanted to leave some room in case, just in case. But I will, I keep on forgetting where I am. I'll go to the expenses. We'll go down to Brian's stuff since he's here.
Page 6, if you got it in your handout.
Yeah, I wasn't smart enough to do that. So, you can see, we'll just go right to, just jump right to capital, that you can see not in 26 and in the 26 categories, that's what Brian had asked for. We have the Bobcat and skid steer lease payment. He had asked for a plow, a new Boss plow for the pickup truck, to set aside $25,000 for an equipment fund, pave around the public works, soil conditioner for the Bobcat, backhoe attachment, and then the frontage road out here on 59. We'll be getting that from the state, and that needs a mill and overlay, and we will be short about $30,000. But we put that off, and we're not going to do that, or we've moved that down to not happen in 2026 now. So the only thing in this budget for next year is the lease payments and the Boss plow. And then we have $10,000 to seal the sidewalks downtown. Somebody else can tell you more about that if you want to know what that is.
Seal the colored concrete, the new colored concrete. It's gonna have to be a sealant put on there every other year. So if you remember last year, they poured a bunch down there and they put a sealer on there, and still some of it flaked off and things like that. Apparently that wasn't the best sealer that they could use to protect that down there, so they re-poured some of it and then put a different, of course, a more expensive sealer on there. So that's what they're recommending to do every other year, is to put this sealant on the colored concrete to keep its color and to protect it. So
That's generous. Every year is really recommended.
yeah, when I was talking, well, every year would be ideal, but
Right.
But
But, yeah,
he
it's
said
expensive.
every 2 years would work. So it's gonna cost $10,000 to do all of the colored concrete, so we figured budget $5,000 a year. I mean, next year we'll have to budget this 10 grand because we have nothing, but moving forward, I think we can budget that $5 a year and do it every other year.
we were also told by the concrete company, that it not only protects it, but it makes it look new,
Right. It does.
shiny feature.
Is it slippery?
No.
It's just like it is now, it's been sitting on, it's nice. The tree grates are slippery. It's like concrete.
Okay?
Okay, and then we have street maintenance, which is dust guard, gravel, all the good fun stuff. Snow removal, weed control, swimming pool. We were right on budget this year, which I thought was pretty good for guessing. So we didn't make much for changes. this for the next year. And then we get to parks. We'll do a little bit of talking there. Oops. Sorry, this is closer for me, so that's why I'm catching up here. So we will go to, we took out plans and specs for the suspension bridge because we have about 25,000 saved up, and we thought that's one spot we could cut. And then when you get to R&M service, I went through and then I figured out that so this year you can see we had $8,000 in there, right there, and we're already at $11,000. And so when I went and figured it out, so far we have spent $7,000 on portable toilet and sink rental for the parks, for all the festivals and stuff for the year. And that just kind of surprised me. I didn't realize that we had spent, that we spend that much money on those items. And so I increased that significantly. And then, so we get to capital outlay, and you can see that we moved a lot of stuff that he had asked for from 26 to not 26. A brush mower, suspension bridge repaint, we'd moved out of there. Sharon bathhouse, we'd moved out of there. Saving for the Sharon Park Drive, we'd moved that out of there, and we basically just left the chainsaws in there and some smaller items. Weed whacker, push mower, and pole saw is what we left in there. And then there is an item that we did want to talk, or that he wanted to talk to council about, because years ago, we had put $60,000 aside of liquor store funds to finish the pour-in place, maybe was what it's called, down in Peterson Park. And at the time, it was gonna be, we had a bid for $60,000. Well, so we put that aside. Well, by the time that we were gonna go ahead and do it, it had increased to $85,000, so we didn't have enough to do it. So the next year, when budgeting came around, we needed another $25,000. We didn't put that $25,000 aside, so years later, that was 4 or 5 years ago now, so now we have this $60,000 for that pour and play to get finished down there, which I'm sure it costs significantly more than even the 85 now. So the P-rock has to be replaced down there in all the parks. And he can tell you the rest.
The park board always has wanted to finish this, the forum places in Peterson Park, which I like the idea, except for the $85,000. And they've got this new emulsified mulch, wood mulch, that I can put in all of the parks. For, I mean, I'd have to get it updated, but last year it was $61,000. I could do all my parks instead of just one. And I'm like, well, doesn't it make better financial sense to, even if it was $5,000 more this year, wouldn't it make better financial sense to do all the parks instead of just one? So we get rid of all the P-rock and all of them?
Do you know what the lifespan is of that multiplied wood mulch?
I do not.
It'd be an annual top dress type of deal, like all mulch?
You know, it's possible it's gonna have some settling, but I don't think it's, I was gonna see if I caught it on here. I honestly haven't looked at it because it's one of those things that I've just put in the back of my head because I don't like thought of spending 85 on one park when I can do all of them, so.
But yeah, it'd be a lot more too than 85 now, because that's
Oh,
been
yeah.
2 years
That was
already.
2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Or a year ago.
You can figure 30% at least.
Yeah. But it's no different than anything else. There's continual maintenance with anything when we have 3 playgrounds that we're dealing with. So, I guess that's kind of what I wanted to see what the council wanted to do. If we want to continue to move forward with spending, I'm sure it's close to 90,000 now to finish that park, or do all of them next year with the emulsified wood mulch.
I like the sound of the finances end of it, but
Right.
I would like to see and study up on that emulsified wood mulch a
We
little.
have some in this playground with the swing set that we got the grant for.
Mhm.
It's in that one right now.
Okay.
Okay.
And the school also has it in their playground.
We should all take a look at it.
Take a field trip.
Okay.
I don't know if you can figure out the maintenance, ongoing maintenance with it, what it takes each year to keep that
Right.
compliant, or...
I'm guessing it's going to be minimal.
Does it meet the fall ratings and things like
It
that?
does.
Okay.
It does. We used to have wood mulch here, and then that wasn't good, so they went to P-rock, and now P-rock isn't good.
Right.
So,
Well, P-rock should have an indefinite shelf life. It shouldn't go away.
some reason this stuff is ADA and that stuff is, P-rock is
Right.
not, so
Yeah.
it's,
Do we have to comply by those standards?
Yeah, at a public playground.
You do?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anybody gets hurt or something, if they really wanted to, knock on wood, they haven't ever, but
Okay. We should take a look at that park.
Okay, so we'll just continue moving down and then go back up and catch what we missed. Historic City Hall, last year and this year, we had put for replacement of the deck, but we ended up taking that out. And then economic development, we had Jordan give us prices for 3 days, which she's at now, 4 days a week and 5 days a week. And so after reviewing it, where is this up here? After reviewing it, you can see on the 421, that expense actually went down because she absorbed some of the costs in the other expenses. But after reviewing it, we increased the days up to 4 days a week for 2026. So from 3 to 4 is what the budget committee is talking about. For other expenses, not a whole lot of change. We did do some discussing on ambulance service, and we have put that at 25,000 for 2026. Library, this is what she was talking about.
Before we go to the library, let's go back to economic development. Jordan, do you have any comments? We let Brian speak to his department. Any comments you have?
Not that I talked to you guys at the budget meetings.
I just want to give you the opportunity.
Huh?
I just wanted to give department heads an opportunity when they're here this evening.
We can count at all rates and days of service. So I chatted with the budget committee about services that are being provided now, and then services at 4 days and 5 days a week. So at 5 days a week, we're looking at assisting the Chamber of Commerce, having somebody act as really the executive director, because the chamber is struggling. And as far as, the expenses related to those activities that ADA is absorbing now, like using the park, my time helping plan festivals, etc. And then some more assistance in planning and zoning. It was primarily 5 days, 4 days was more assistance towards planning and zoning. 3 days is everything done.
Anyone have any questions for Jordan?
Has the chamber showed interest in, supporting this to 5 days?
Yes, financial ability, yes. There's a small Explore Minnesota grant that could help pay for a portion of it, like small, $5,000. Definitely express interest. I think equal to the amount of times that I think we all hear that the chamber struggles and businesses might not see a lot of value in their membership. But it would take the help, but don't have financial capacity to fund it.
It seems to me that the chamber dues are less than they used to be. Or they have multiple options, and I imagine businesses put less in.
It is a bummer.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of that, what I heard in the past years is they got no bang for their buck. So, it stands to reason, right?
Right.
So maybe figuring out a way to give them some bang for their buck would help our chamber, in turn, help our town all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be beneficial for someone to take over that.
Yeah.
And you can see, I do have, on your copies too, I had it broke out how much it costs for 3 days, for 4 days, and for 5 days.
Correct.
So, you can see what the difference is. If you want to crunch numbers after we leave, because who doesn't love crunching numbers at home?
Yeah. Steve.
So, should we move on?
Okay.
The library? Okay, so the library, the top number is their gutters need to be replaced on the building, and that is $13,000. And that would be done in 2026. And then, to start putting money aside to replace the HVAC system, and we would start with $15,000, I think what we decided on, in 2026, and then that's where I put, and it was just my suggestion to the budget committee to, because the last 2 years we have paid the entire insurance bill for the library. And it just keeps on going up. It was 11,000 last year, 14,500 this year, and so my recommendation was we'll pay the building insurance next year, and they can pay the contents. So that was my recommendation to the budget committee, and that's what I have built into this one. They're asking for us to pay the entire.
The 72 difference or whatever it was.
Yep, so, for 2026. So then that would increase that number. And then, this number, whoops, I'm running two different computers. This number here is the number that will cover their payroll. And that's kind of what we've been getting into doing the last couple of years since we've made it official that they are city employees. So that'll cover their payroll for 2026. And insurance didn't change. Airport doesn't change.
Before we go on, Marie, did you have anything else to add?
Just what I said earlier about asking, only because we weren't aware that we were going to be needing to make up that budget deficit from our end. So if we had a little more time to figure out how to make up that money, it would be really helpful for our board, just because that's a lot of money for us to be making. You know, the library is the only public building in the city. You can't walk into the fire hall and ask to make prints. You can't walk into other buildings and say, I need to use the restroom. You know, but the library is a place where people walk in and use the bathroom, they walk in and print, they use the computers, they use the rooms. You know, it's like the only public building in the town. So it's something that we're trying to work on. And we're not against and counter-offer. You know, if you guys are like, hey, could you do this instead? And then go more money the next year. We're willing to work with the city 100%. It's just that number is a little bit drastic when you spend 10 cents for copies, and that's a lot of copies. So hopefully a lot of people can do those.
You had made a comment that you get other funds based on what the city pays?
So the non-resident reimbursements that we get, this year we've got $47,000 as our non-resident reimbursement. The Viking Library System takes into account all of the residents in the townships that make up Pelican Rapids Library. And so the amount of residents and the amount that the city provides the library are two factors that make up that reimbursement. So they're going to see that the budget was $263 this past year. So that means we would get more next year for that non-resident reimbursement. If that number goes down by $10,000, they're going to see that number goes down, and then we get less that following year. So I was surprised to hear that that's part of that number, is how much the city provides the library and how they reimburse, how that non-resident reimbursement happens. And we get a couple of checks per year on that non-resident reimbursement. So the non-resident reimbursement happens multiple times per year. The last one comes in December, and we won't know how much the non-resident reimbursement is until next year. So it's hard for us to budget $7,200 if we don't know what the non-resident reimbursement is, but also the budget, the money that the city is giving us is also going down.
So it could affect you by more than 7,000, maybe 10, 12,000?
It could affect us. I mean, if we get more residents, that helps us too. So, more people need to come for
Good question. Any other questions for Marie? Thank you. Floor is yours, Danielle.
Super. I'll just go to the top of the expenses. Oops, I overshot it. There. So nothing changed here in council and administrator and clerk. There really wasn't any changes. I think the next big change will be when we get to, legal, right here. So you can see that our prosecuting fees are already, for this year, we've pretty much spent our budget. So this is one that we did increase for next year, and the thought is it's come December, we'll kind of see where that number's at, and maybe we can drop that one down a little bit, because come December we can go down, we just can't go up. So we increased that one. And then planning, this number, we always put $10,000 in there, and that's for those miscellaneous planning things that tend to crop up, like the southwest land that we ended up surveying and stuff, and just miscellaneous things that we end up, you can see we kind of spent the last few years some money in there. And then, oops. City Hall, not any changes. Oh, yes, Lance, not just Lance. We're having some issues with the audio. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes Danielle trips over a wire and it doesn't work so great. And so to get some of those things fixed, I think he got some quotes anywhere from,
Well, to replace audio and video was like $20,000, but we can get the audio in a much better position than we are now for about $2,000, so.
and then some of these chairs in here are not so nice, so we thought we could replace some of the ickier chairs. So we have $3,000 built into the budget here for City Hall. And then, so then we're at the police. So Todd had asked for a 5th officer again, like he did last year. And then he paid off the squad, and we always do in a 3-year rotation. And so now it's time to get a new squad. He would like to change it to a 2-year rotation because the maintenance on them is getting to be so high. And so he priced out a new squad, and they're about $66,500 all set up with everything. And so we talked about it, and we kind of thought instead of going through and getting a lease on it for 2 years, we could just have it funded through the liquor store funds. And then that way we don't have to pay the interest on it. And so that's what's built into his capital. And then his budget would pay for half of it next year, and then the liquor store would pay for the other half, and then his budget would pay the liquor store back the next year. And then he, like I said, he had asked for a 5th officer, but we ended up taking that out of the budget in the end because it was too high. And then I think we've gone all the way around. So now we'll go up to revenue. So the top number is the levy number, and that number we just that's the number that we'll need to cover all the expenses after everything's all figured in. Government, or LGA, did not increase a whole lot this year. The transportation assistance next year has increased quite a bit. I think it was only, $12,000 for this year, so I was impressed with that. Swimming, this is what we brought in for swimming this year, so I was happy with those numbers. So with all of our revenues that we bring in, and then we thought we would transfer in from the liquor store, $125,000. At first we tried just doing 100,000, but we felt that our number was still too high, so we changed it to 125,000. To bring it down further, and you can also see this is all of our debt service that's for the special levy. And we were going to use, we figured out about how much we have left. I'll have those sheets for next time too. How much we have left of, we haven't completed the pool quite yet, but we figured out approximately how much is left and how much we'll have left of pool funds, and kind of spread it out all over the pool debt service. And we figured we could use about 40,000 a year towards the debt service on that. So, so we decreased the debt service by $40,000 also. So, with adding that money in that the library asked, our total tax levy percentage is at 10.47 right now.
As Danielle said, we have to submit the final budget by the first council meeting in December. We have to submit the preliminary budget by our next meeting, 30th of September. We did a lot of slashing and cutting here. Shelley, do you have anything to add? You were on the committee.
I was also at the library board meeting last night, and there, we had one person say, we have 100,000 sitting in CDs. We need to do our part. True. Would I say, well, just back down and say, no, we'll just pay the whole thing? I think it makes sense to come back with a number without just paying for it, because their donations are for books or programs. True, but people have to understand too, the library doesn't run itself and there's expenses, so I don't think it's bad to use some of that, just because now we bump up about 10 again, just to accommodate.
We can't go up, but we can go down,
Right, yes.
so.
Was there much discussion wrapped around changing gears from the library to public safety on that fifth officer? Was that discussed or just not discussed?
Yeah, we discussed that with the chief. He attended a meeting and.
And now too, it wasn't to cover hours. It was when somebody is doing the office work on a case, that it provided coverage. That was the biggest thing, because
Right. That's what we need, is coverage.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only glaring thing I didn't like to see in the budget cut. And I could give multiple reasons and instances and circumstances, but I'm not on the committee. Maybe I'll ask the chief about it and see what his argument was before I drone it on here.
Yeah, he, like I say, he couldn't be here
No, that's
tonight to
fine,
answer
yeah.
questions
No,
either.
I can get ahold of him.
Yeah, reach out to him. Yeah, last year we had an increase of 9.68, and This year we cut and slashed and we're still higher than last year at 9.94 without the library.
Well, just remember too, last year, out of the final budget reflected that 155,000 that we took out of the general to cover as well.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
reserves. And
expenses
this-
are not
Yeah.
up much. It's, you're reflecting that
Right.
155 that we put in. That's reflected in this increase as well, so.
Any other comments from the council? We used to try to keep it under 5%, but times have changed.
Times have changed. I think you did a good job with what you had available here.
Do we know what other cities' increases are?
Lance, you have a answer to
I
that,
have been in
right?
some other meetings and stuff with other city administrators and preliminarily, I mean, it's all over. I mean, everyone's got their specific situations, but I would say a general average right now that I could say would be about that 8. And that's, I mean, that's far from final on anybody's, but they range anywhere from 5 to 15, you know. But like I say, there's a lot of specific circumstances in a lot of different cities too, so.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on and finalize this next meeting. Any other questions?
So the debt service is about a third of the, or half, a third total?
Yep, the pool increased it a lot.
That was well received, so.
Anyone else? If not, we'll move on. Item number 16, Houston Engineering invoice. Lance?
So this is this last month's work on that little engineering work on the Rock Rapids that the DNR is going to put in, that little one by the old Legion building. So this will all be reimbursed by the DNR. So this is just to get so we can get a reimbursement request into the DNR.
Make a motion to approve?
Is there a second? Second. Motion and second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 13, Administrator Report. Lance?
Since the last meeting, attended a department head meeting, attended an ordinance committee meeting, attended the weekly 59-108 construction and public meetings, had multiple budget committee meetings where we worked on the preliminary draft of the 26 general budget, attended an EDA meeting, met with Pelican Valley Health Center representatives about some temporary parking in Sharon Park through their construction of their facility. Jordan and Todd and I met with a potential cannabis business, met with Minnesota Rural Water representatives about the discolored water issues. Like Brian said, they have a lot of ideas on the causes and some possible solutions to the issue, and they'll start doing some testing at the water plant and create a plan to deal with that issue. Worked on the RFPs for the city attorney and prosecuting attorney. Met with Aaron from Waste Management about the possibility of taking some of their leachate. And worked with People Service on the generator issue at the wastewater treatment plant. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Getting back to the rusty water, anyone here experience rusty water in their house?
I have. I noticed just a slight tint. No,
Okay,
no
okay.
staining really. But
We're just wondering if it just affects one area of town or everyone?
that area, Second Avenue Northeast had it's very light staining though. Like I
Okay.
thought, yeah, that's not exactly the same as it always is.
No, no.
I didn't even consider it a problem, to be honest, but
So unfortunately, it's widespread. Be nice to have just one area we could isolate it. Okay, thank you, Lance. Item number 14, Mayor Report, just a few items the last couple of weeks. Attended an ordinance meeting here at City Hall, also an EDA meeting. Attended 2 budget meetings here with the Budget Committee, 2 Pelican Rapids Complete Street staff meetings here, also facilitated 2 public meetings at the library, held conversations to the library meeting at the library on August 29th. Also, let's see here, went to an emergency management summit staff meeting here at City Hall, and also met with Minnesota Rural Water Association and Superintendent Olson and Administrator Royce, and also People Service regarding the Rusty Water situation. And then yesterday met with Administrator Royson to plan the agenda for this afternoon's City Council meeting. Any questions?
Thank you.
Seeing no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Meeting adjourned. Quicker than I thought.
Yeah, it went pretty well.
Lance,
You what?